What happens when a franchise finally tells their so-called superstar that she's not actually their best player? The Chicago Sky just delivered that message in the most public way possible, naming Camilla Cardoso as their Player of the Year over Angel Reese. After months of Reese publicly trashing her teammates, demanding roster overhauls, and positioning herself as the centerpiece who deserved better supporting players, the organization just sent a nuclear message that couldn't be clearer. And the fallout reveals everything about Reese's crumbling value to Chicago and why her days with the Sky might be numbered. This isn't just about an award. This is about an organization choosing the player who showed up every single day over the one who created constant chaos and then vanished when games mattered most. Many of you have been connecting these dots for weeks, noticing how Reese's behavior didn't match someone who claims to be a leader. Let's filter out the noise and examine exactly what Chicago's decision means for Reese's future. The announcement came through the Sky's official channels. Camila Cardoso, Player of the Year. 40 games played, 15 times Player of the Game, 6 times Player of the Week, 2 times Player of the Month. Congratulations, Camila Cardoso. Notice what's missing from that announcement. Any mention whatsoever of Angel Reese's season, her stats, or her contributions. Chicago didn't even acknowledge Reese as a runner-up or honorable mention. They celebrated Cardoso's consistency and reliability, while Reese got complete silence. If you believe the story behind the story matters, smash that like button. It tells us we're on the right track as we dig into what really happened here. The timing of this award makes Chicago's message impossible to ignore. This came after a Chicago Tribune interview where Reese revealed her true feelings about her teammates in ways that left the entire organization speechless. She declared that getting good players and great players was absolutely non-negotiable for her future with the team. Reese told reporters straight up that she wasn't settling for the same roster they had this year and demanded a complete overhaul. These weren't subtle hints or diplomatic suggestions about improvement. Reese directly attacked the quality of her current teammates in the most public forum possible. Her exact words, "I'm not settling for the same shit we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. I'm willing and wanting to play with the best. And however I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this offseason. We can't settle for what we have this year." Reading between the lines reveals what Reese actually communicated to every single player in that Chicago locker room. She considered them inadequate, not good enough, obstacles to her success rather than teammates building something together. The veteran players who had been grinding in the WNBA for years suddenly found themselves being publicly dismissed by a second-year player who thought she deserved better supporting pieces to make her stats look good. The damage went even deeper when you examine who Reese targeted specifically. Courtney Vandersloot was still working her way back from an ACL injury when Reese questioned her age and reliability in those same Tribune comments. Think about that for a second. Here's a 2-time WNBA champion, 5-time All-Star, 2-time All-WNBA first-team player who left the championship-caliber New York Liberty to come help the Chicago Sky rebuild. And Reese essentially wrote her off as part of the problem Chicago needed to solve. Vandersloot fired back immediately with a response that showed real leadership. "My age is actually not a factor. I am coming back. I'm going to come back better than ever. Because that's what I've done. I put myself in a position to come back and compete, even at this age." She defended not just herself, but the entire roster's work ethic and dedication without ever directly naming Reese. That's how veterans handle disrespect while maintaining professionalism, but Reese didn't stop there. She doubled down with comments that revealed her true mindset. "I don't know what will attract great players. Maybe the practice facility will attract that. We'll see. But the priority is being able to convince free agents that this is an organization going in the right direction. Honestly, it would be a leap of faith for a great player to come here. A leap of faith for great players to join Chicago. You were onto something when you noticed how insulting that statement actually is. Reese positioned herself as someone trapped on a losing team, desperately needing rescue from better players, while completely ignoring that the front office had already bent over backwards to help her succeed. They traded for Ariel Atkins specifically to give Reese the veteran presence she claimed to want. They gave up draft picks and made roster moves with Reese's development as a primary consideration. Yet there she was, publicly complaining that their efforts weren't enough. The locker room reaction told the real story. Rachel Banham, a veteran guard, captured the exhaustion everyone felt when she said, "I think I just don't really care. I'm so over all this." That's a veteran player admitting she was tired of the constant drama. Ariel Atkins, the player they literally traded for to help Reese, had to acknowledge the situation publicly by saying, "We are aware of it. We are addressing it." Even Coach Tyler Marsh called handling Reese's comments a top-down organizational decision. Sources reported that teammates were absolutely furious about Reese's direct attacks, and a team meeting was planned to address her behavior. Veterans who respected players like Vandersloot couldn't understand how a second-year player thought this kind of public criticism was acceptable leadership behavior. The trust that holds championship teams together started cracking in real time. Connecting the dots reveals the deeper problem. Reese essentially broadcast to the entire league that her current teammates weren't good enough to help her succeed. Every player in the WNBA heard that message loud and clear. How many free agents are going to look at that situation and think, "Oh yeah, I want to play with someone who has no problem throwing teammates under the bus publicly"? How many veterans want to join a locker room where the supposed star considers them replaceable obstacles rather than valued contributors? The unity that championship teams require became impossible to build in Chicago's toxic environment. Players started questioning whether their franchise player actually wanted to play with them or just wanted them replaced with bigger names who could elevate her individual statistics. That kind of atmosphere destroys teams from the inside out. And Chicago's front office was watching it happen in real time. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on whether Chicago should trade Angel Reese or try to salvage this situation. We want to hear what you think happens next, because this story is far from over. Now here's where the situation gets even more revealing. While all this drama was unfolding, Angel Reese made a decision that speaks volumes about her leadership priorities. When the Indiana Fever destroyed the Chicago Sky in Indianapolis on Saturday, guess who wasn't there? Angel Reese declined to travel with her team to Indianapolis. Her coach came out with vague statements about Reese focusing on her rehab and being day-to-day with a wrist injury. But we've never received an explanation about what actually caused the wrist injury, what the timeline for recovery looks like, or any medical details that would help fans understand the situation. All we've heard is day-to-day, while Angel Reese has essentially disappeared from her team during a crucial stretch. No transparency, no communication, just absence when her teammates needed support the most. The WNBA community is buzzing about the contrast between how Reese handled this situation versus how real leaders approach injuries and team commitment. Let's talk about what actual championship leadership looks like, because the difference couldn't be more striking. Caitlin Clark showed everyone the blueprint during Indiana's remarkable transformation this season. When Clark dealt with her own injury setbacks, she handled them with complete transparency. She explained situations openly to media and fans. She never made excuses or created mystery around her availability. The Fever always knew exactly where Clark stood, both physically and mentally. But here's the crucial difference. Clark traveled with her team even when she couldn't play. She sat on the bench during games, cheering for teammates and staying engaged with every single possession. During timeouts, she talked strategy with coaches and encouraged players who were struggling. Clark never disappeared when things got tough or when her team faced adversity. She showed up for every practice she could physically attend and made sure her teammates felt supported, whether she was on the court or not. Clark's public comments about her teammates created the exact opposite environment from Chicago's toxic situation. She constantly praised Aaliyah Boston's defensive improvements and rebounding consistency. She highlighted Lexi Hull's three-point shooting and called her one of the most reliable players on the roster. When Kelsey how Clark talks about her team. "I'm proud of this group. I think we've shown all season long they're resilient, they're connected, they pull for each other, they enjoy one another, they celebrate one another. And that stuff alone is good for 10 to 12 points a game. For this group, the way that they share the ball, how unselfish they are, I'm just really proud of them. It's not been ideal circumstances all season long, but they've shown the character of who they are. They've been resilient, they've responded to adversity, and they continue to elevate one another." You notice the difference. Clark uses words like resilient, connected, celebrate one another, unselfish. Reese used words like can't settle, not good enough, need better players. One builds culture, the other destroys it. The chemistry Clark built with Kelsey Mitchell became legendary around the league. They spent extra time after practice working on pick-and-roll timing and court spacing. Clark deferred to Mitchell's experience, while Mitchell helped Clark adjust to the professional game's pace. Their partnership showed how stars and veterans can collaborate instead of competing for attention. The respect flowed both ways, creating trust that translated directly into wins on the court. Aaliyah Boston's development under Clark's leadership proved what positive influence can accomplish. Boston went from struggling with confidence early in the season to becoming one of the league's most reliable big players. Clark fed her easy baskets early in games to get her rhythm going. She celebrated Boston's defensive stops like they were game winners. Boston responded by protecting Clark on screens and crashing the boards harder than ever. Their connection became unstoppable, and it happened because Clark invested in making her teammate better, rather than complaining about needing better teammates. Indiana's attendance numbers exploded because fans could see the genuine chemistry Clark created. Games became must-see events, not just for Clark's individual brilliance, but for the way the entire team played together. The Fever sold out arenas across the country because people wanted to watch a team that actually enjoyed playing with each other. Clark's positive energy became contagious and translated into box office success that nobody predicted. The playoff contention that nobody expected from Indiana happened because Clark built winning habits from day one. She demanded excellence from herself before asking anything from teammates. Clark showed up early, stayed late, and made everyone around her better through her work ethic and example. The Fever went from lottery team to playoff contender because their star player understood that individual success means absolutely nothing without team success. Now connect all these pieces together. Chicago's decision to name Camila Cardoso as their Player of the Year over Reese delivered the ultimate message about organizational priorities. The Sky picked the player who showed up every single day and supported her teammates over the one who created constant drama and disappeared when it mattered most. Cardoso earned respect through consistency and professionalism. Reese burned bridges with public complaints and unreliable availability during crucial moments. The broader question facing Chicago's front office right now is impossible to ignore. How many more free agents will want to join a team where the supposed franchise player publicly declares her teammates aren't good enough? How many veterans want to sign with an organization where they might get thrown under the bus in the Chicago Tribune? The damage Reese created extends far beyond hurt feelings in the current locker room. She's actively making it harder for Chicago to attract the exact talent she claims she desperately needs. Not officially confirmed, but the breadcrumbs lead to serious trade discussions happening behind the scenes. Multiple sources are whispering about Chicago exploring Reese's market value while her stock continues to drop. The Sky invested significant resources in building around Reese, and she repaid them by creating toxicity and instability. At some point, organizations have to make difficult decisions about whether a talented player's negatives outweigh their positives. The Fever's transformation under Clark's leadership proves that championship teams need more than raw talent. They need the right person setting the tone, building culture, and making everyone around them better. Indiana built something genuinely special around authentic leadership and team-first mentality. Chicago learned the hard way that ego and entitlement destroy everything, no matter how talented the player causing the problems might be. If you want to stay ahead of this developing story and see what happens next with Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. We're tracking every move Chicago makes this offseason, and trust me, the decisions they make about Reese's future will reshape the entire WNBA landscape. Click that subscribe button right now, because this situation is about to get even more interesting. The Sky chose Cardoso. They chose consistency over chaos. They chose professionalism over drama. And Angel Reese just learned that being talented isn't enough when you destroy the culture around you. We'll see you in the next one, where we break down exactly what Chicago's options are and which teams might actually be willing to take on Reese's contract and her baggage.